Cables in the exact pattern and color of your choice. From now until November 7th, CableMod is offering 20% off all products in their cable configurator. Click the link in the description below and use the code MOD20 for a generous discount on quality custom cables. Oh yeah! What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another review on this beautiful keyboard right behind me. This is the Tesoro Gram Spectrum RGB. Been meaning to do this review for a while, just now getting around to it, and you'll excuse the loose, unscripted format for today's video. I've actually kind of been in a rush this week because I leave for Hong Kong in just a couple days, so I'm trying to pump out a lot of content before I hop on my flight, so I actually have stuff to post while I'm abroad. So yeah. But this is a pretty cool keyboard we're talking about today. It is a mechanical keyboard. It features Tesoro's agile switches, which are not Cherry MX. I know that's a deal breaker for some of you, but it does have a few tricks up its mechanical sleeve to make it more enticing. So why don't we go ahead and dive right in to see what makes this keyboard so special. Let's check it out. Let's check it out now. All right, so here's the keyboard. It's got some backlit LEDs, 16.8 million colors. Oh my, so many to choose from. Although my eyes can really only ever see about 8 of them, so there's that. But you do get your options there. We'll dig into the software in just a bit. However, you can see that we've got this white, very clean, kind of pristine looking. Let me turn the LEDs on. Go away. You can see that we've got this really nice white aesthetic here. There aren't too many keyboards that do this, that are just completely white. I feel a bit conflicted about this. One part of me is like, yeah, all white. It's unique. It's cool. The other half of me is like, this is gonna look awful in like a few weeks after my grimy hands have been, typing away on keys. I'm opening boxes every day that, are in the mail. They're all dusty and dirty and stuff, and then I go ahead and type on my keys. That might royally mess this up very quickly. So bear that in mind if you are going to go with this white version. They do offer a black version as well, and I think that's probably going to be a lot more forgiving when it comes to wear and tear and dirt buildup and that sort of thing. Also, you do get some variety of switches. These are the Agile Reds, and I can take this off, even though you can't really see it from there. Maybe I'll cut to some B-roll or something. These feature Agile Red switches. These keyboards will also come in blue, black, or brown switches, so you have your pick there. Now let me break it down for you, what's different about these Agile switches and how they compare to their Cherry MX Red counterparts. So first off, the actuation distance and the travel distance on the Agile switches is actually a bit shorter than it is on Cherry MX Red. So for actuation distance, we get 1.5 millimeters, which means you only need to press the key 1.5 millimeters down until it actuates the keystroke and sends the signal. Whereas Cherry MX Reds, I believe, is 2 millimeters, right? So that's a bit longer that you have to go down in order for it to depress, or to actuate, I should say. For bottoming out, your travel distance total on the Agile switches is 3.5 millimeters, so that's basically from the very top to the very bottom, bottoming out the key, whereas on the Cherry MX Reds, it's 4 millimeters, so you do have to go a little bit further down. Now, it's a personal preference thing. Some people like that extra actuation distance, or that travel distance, I should say, because it's just, it's more tactile, and I would tend to agree with that. I feel like these keys are not quite as tactile because of that reason as something like the Cherry MX Reds. However, they do seem to be a bit quicker when you press them down because you're not actually having to bottom out the keys quite as far. So that's kind of a nice feature there. Tesoro is advertising the Gram Spectrum to be the fastest mechanical keyboard with the fastest switches. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, if you take a look at the Cherry MX Speed switches, which are exclusively on the Corsair K70 Rapid Fire right now, those have an actuation distance of 1.2 millimeters. So that's actually 0.3 millimeters faster than the Agile Reds here, at least given that particular specification. So as far as like typing though, if you're talking like subjective review stuff here, like what do I actually think of the typing, I think it's actually pretty nice. Like the typing experience, the gaming experience, I played half an hour of Doom with this thing, and once you get used to the shorter travel distance, I think that's the biggest kind of thing that you have to get used to. It actually works really well, and it's comfortable. My typing experience has been fairly positive on it so far. Not really too many complaints there. Again, it's just going to rely heavily on preference and how much you're indoctrined into the Cherry MX universe, where, is it going to be too much of a change going to something like these Agile switches. They actually have low profile keycaps as well. So these keycaps are half as tall as like most standard issue keycaps. So I guess that also kind of provides a different feel. Again, something you might have to get used to. I'm not a huge fan of them, nor am I like hating on them either. I think that, they don't do much for me, but they're there. Some people might prefer them just for the aesthetic thing. It kind of gives your keyboard a lot slimmer of an appearance, which kind of might jive well for your style and tastes. So there's that. Rattling off some other fun specs here, you get 60 million keystrokes per key, as well as a 1000 Hz polling rate and 100% anti-ghosting with full 6 or N key rollovers. So you can pretty much smash your face against this thing, and every single key that your face hits will be actuated, because we've all been in that situation where you're smashing your face against your keyboard. It happens all the time. You've also got a very nice detachable cable here. It's 6 foot braided USB, and look at this, it's a mini USB connector, which I really appreciate over the micro USB, just because there's a bit more rigidity to it, so that's a big plus for me. As far as the keyboard itself, the construction is super well built. I mean, build quality is top notch here. The keycaps are double injection. They look really nice, at least on the day of unboxing. Wait until I eat some Cheetos first and then go on a typing rampage. The body itself is actually really solid as well. I mean, there's like zero flex. It's completely sturdy. It's got a plastic housing, but an internal metal base across the entire thing, so it gives this really nice heft to it, so it doesn't slide around. Additionally, to help with that, I believe on the underbelly, we do have some stuff here. We've got some rubber padding, which again for anti-slip stuff, as I'm saying stuff a lot, saying stuff way too much. And you've got these little flip-out feet. Two flip-out feet, which give actually a decent angle, a nice incline for more ergonomic typing, and those feet actually have rubberized pads on them as well, so just to aid in the non-slippage. In the top right corner here, you get a Tesoro logo, which thankfully isn't too intrusive, right beside 3 LED indicators in blue. Now, I wish these were either white, something more color neutral to match with your theme, the theme of your desk, or if you could just configure them all together to different colors in the software to really match and tie in with your color scheme and stuff. Unfortunately, you're stuck with blue. What can you do? These are representing your caps lock, num lock, and gaming mode. So this keyboard can actually switch between PC mode and gaming mode. Gaming mode essentially enables any kind of preset macros that you've configured in the software. By the way, you can also record macros on the fly from your hardware itself. Just start a recording session with the home button, and then you're on your way to recording a macro simply by tapping some keys, which is kind of cool. The other thing that gaming mode does is it disables your Windows keys, so you don't back out of the game unexpectedly. Taking a look at our F keys up here. First off, you've got 5 profile keys, F1 through F5. You have 5 different profiles that you can switch between. Again, your Windows lock key is F6. F7 through F12 are your multimedia keys. Now, one small gripe I have here is that you get, your volume up and down keys, which is fine, better than nothing, but I've gotten so used to having a volume knob on the K70 RGB that it's super convenient, and I think at this sort of price point for a mechanical keyboard, especially if you've got a number pad in there and it's not a super compact keyboard, then it should have some kind of volume knob or volume wheel, because it's just super convenient, especially when you're in the heat of battle and you need to turn something up or down, someone comes in the room, whatever. I've gotten really used to it. Again, this is huge personal preference, but that is how I feel about it. So on that note, before we hop into the software and I show you what that all entails, I kind of wanted to show you guys what is possible on the keyboard itself without ever loading up the software, because there are a couple things you can do here. For example, if you hold function and you tap on the up and down arrows, you can change the brightness. There's 4 different levels of brightness on the backlighting, as well as off, so you can of course disable it altogether if you wish. The brightest level is super bright, and honestly the RGB implementation, like the LEDs on this keyboard, are some of the best I've seen. I said this about the last Tesoro keyboard I reviewed almost a year ago or so, that it was just a cut above everything else. This is honestly nicer backlighting than the K70 Rapid Fire. It seriously is in a league of its own, and I do commend Tesoro on that achievement. However, we're going to see what else it can do here, so let's go ahead and check out some of the other modes. So I believe this is kind of just, they have names and stuff, fun names. Trigger! So this is probably just, Firefly. We'll call this one Firefly. You tap it, it lights up for a second, and then it goes away. Beautiful. This is kind of a ripple effect. We're pretty familiar with this one. Boom, boom, boom. What do we got here? And I'm basically just holding down function and doing left and right on the arrow keys this time. This is called Fireworks, if I remember correctly, and it kind of does like this AoE thing where it lights up the surrounding adjacent keys, which is kind of cool. You've also got, this is like a laser. Breathing, of course. It wouldn't be an RGB keyboard with fancy LED effects if it didn't have a breathing mode. And then of course you have the very nice pretty one. This is the spectrum mode, or rainbow wave, whatever they call it. And it doesn't have any kind of reactive properties. It's just boom. It's just boom. And then there's this one, which kind of looks like a gaming mode sort of thing, where you've got your WASD and surrounding keys all lit up. Pretty much the right half of the keyboard is completely out, but there you guys have it. That's pretty much what you can do from the keyboard in terms of illumination. Now we can go ahead and jump into the software and see what kind of finer tuning we can do with that, as well as things like macros and stuff. So let's quickly dive into that. Alright, y'all, so here we are in the software, and holy smokes, look at how small this font is. Just gee whiz. Super tiny. I mean, I've got the good eye grass, I got the good vision, and I still have a hard time seeing this little stuff. Sync program, macro setting. I can't imagine like any old ladies who are rocking the gram spectrum right now. Cletus, get out the telescope, Cletus, I can't see a damn thing in this software. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe if there's like some sort of UI scaler that we could scale up the font, maybe that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Look into that, Tesoro. But getting back on topic here, let's see. We're gonna mess with profile 1. I'm gonna click the tilde key. will be our little guinea pig for today. And you can see all these options here. You've got options. So you got a macro, you can write a name for the macro, you can record and do some keys, you can stop, you can change it. Oh my god, look at the font. It's even tinier here. What the hell? What does that even say? Set selected items to 50 millisecond. Gee, I can't read this at all, Tesoro. This is unacceptable. I can't like enlarge the window or anything. I can't even move the window. This is just not good. Not good, guys. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and change this to what I think is 25 milliseconds, according to my eyesight. Change that. You can change all that. You know, you can select them all. You can select none. You can delete them if you want. Delete them if you want. Insert a single key. Insert a copy item. You can have the macro repeat as many times as you like. You can have it repeat continuously while pressed, or repeat continuously until the key is pressed again. I'm gonna press OK, and next time I hit the tilde key in the appropriate environment, it'll do all those keystrokes that I put in there earlier. So that's nice. Key assignment, it's kind of like a boring macro. I mean, basically just, yay, this used to be a tilde key, and now it's the number 5. There you go. That's special, right? Exciting. Sync program. So what this is, so you know how we've got different profile modes here. You've got 5 different user-defined profiles. Well, it can be kind of annoying if you've got different profiles for different applications. Like you've got one profile for Battlefield, you've got one profile for H1Z1. Well, basically this function allows you to switch profiles on the fly. So as soon as you launch up a program, it will switch over to the profile that you've assigned it to. That way you don't have to manually switch it every time, even though it is pretty easy doing it on the fly with those F keys up at the top of the keyboard. It is much easier just to have it all done for you. So that's a pretty cool feature there. Again, you've got disable. Default puts your key back to its default setting that it's shipped with, and then there's launch program. So if you wanted to, you could assign a key to open up a program of your choice, which is kind of cool as well. Really quick before we move on, you do have the option to export or import profiles. There is 512 kilobits of onboard memory, and this is all being like powered by a 32-bit Cortex premium processor that's going to handle all your LED stuff, all the macros and things like that. So moving right along to LED effects here. I believe these are the 7 or 8 different presets that we looked at earlier, so you can select them, of course, through the software itself. There's also spectrum colors, which again is lighting up your WASD keys for gaming and the surrounding keys. So you can have that breathe, you can have it apply a static color where it just stays static, or you can do trigger, which is kind of the more reactive touch to type effect, like so. So that's fun. Over here you get illumination. Hold on, let me exit out of here. Illumination, and it says select a backlit color. So let's do red, apply. Boom, and there's red. Looks fairly accurate, looks a little on the pinkish side. I did notice that when going to white and applying that, it does look fairly pink. I'm not sure how it's coming across to you guys on camera, but from here, it looks very pinkish. I think that could be maybe because there's some red housing underneath the keycaps as we saw earlier, which I wasn't a huge fan of, especially not if it's affecting our LED color. So what you could do is potentially, I don't know, cool it down a little bit by applying just a little wee bit of blueness. That seems to help a little bit. You kind of have to get the right shade of blue. I did it earlier, I promise. Now that looks too blue now. Looks too blue. And here's another problem that I have with the keyboard. See, this looks good. This is nice and white. Looks much cooler, much more true to being white. However, this little color bar here in the software is all you get. That's your color picker right there. And it's very tiny, and it's really hard to be precise. I mean, if you wanted to really go through all 16.8 million colors, it would be quite a tedious task, to say the least. Of course, you do have some preset colors here, which I don't believe you can swap out for colors of your choice. Let's say there's like a custom color that you wanted to save to one of these. I don't think that's an option here. So fairly limited on how you can actually pick and choose your various color options, which there's some room for improvement here. But apart from that, it works well. Again, the LEDs themselves, physically, are some of the nicest I've seen on any mechanical keyboard. The software, on the other hand, could use quite a bit of work. So on that note, before we close out this video, why don't we go ahead and fire up a quick little sound test, comparing the Agile red switches on the Gram Spectrum to the Cherry MX red switches on my Corsair K70 RGB. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention about this keyboard is the price, which is $140 USD, at least at the time of filming this video, on Amazon.com. So that positions it kind of, you know, in the high end. I mean, it's not the most expensive mechanical keyboard that we've seen. I mean, the K70 RGB Rapid Fire is $165, I think, on Amazon right now. And that's $25 more than what you pay for this. Granted, you get Cherry MX keys, which a lot of you just need. You just need that Cherry MX in your life. Zero tolerance for anything else, which I completely understand. But you kind of just have to figure out what your priorities are in a mechanical keyboard. What I would do is potentially find a way to try this out. See how you like it with typing and gaming. Make sure you game on it too, because the experience there can be completely different than writing an email or typing on a Word document, for example. So make sure you try it out to see if you are a fan of the low profile switches of these Agile Reds. You know, honestly, it's a really high quality keyboard. Tesoro has done a nice job of making it feel like a premium product, which it is. And the LED backlighting, again, I can't really rant and rave about that enough. However, the software, again, should be improved. Tesoro, I can't read anything. I just can't see anything. So just make those changes and then get back to me, and I'll be happy. Cool? And everything else I said. Just make everything, just do what I say all the time. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Again, sorry for the loose and unscripted format. Hopefully that was okay. And thank you all for watching this here video. Be sure to give me a like on it. Toss me a like if you enjoyed it. Also, feel free to let me know what you think of this keyboard in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to toss me. No, I already said that. Whoa, deja vu. I'm going crazy. Check out my store where I'm selling shirts and hoodies and merchandise and things like that. More items will be added to the store in the near future, so stay tuned for all that. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.